Old school, so dope, so fly, no lie. And you know, oh God, I got a feeling that I'm about to need her. I'll be real quick.
Hello everyone, this is Carolina Diam, Epiphany of Change. I am Dr. Rogers. I wanted to come to you today to have a conversation with you guys about a message that was put out by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And the message, some of you saw me actually post on Twitter and on the community timeline the other day, and it was about shattering the norm. Shattering the norm. And I wanted to touch on that because we've had a couple of conversations on our live about making sure that we stay true to who we are. We spoke about that, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. We've had a lot of different conversations about it. And I wanted to just touch bases on that and go into a bit more detail about what T.D. Jakes was talking about and my interpretation of shattering the norm. So to me, shattering the norm is doing something different. On that post that I wrote, I put just like 2 Chainz, I'm different. He had that song called I'm Different. And that's the one thing that I think people really need to think about, being uniquely you. Everyone was born to be whoever they are. They weren't born to conform to something that someone else wanted them to be, what would be considered normal. So I spoke about someone making a comment on my page. Actually, it was maybe 2 or 3 people that made a comment on my page before, and they were saying, "Ooh, you're weird. You're not doing your channel right." Actually, they said blog, but you're not doing your channel right. You're not doing it like the other people do it on YouTube. Well, that's because I'm not the other people on YouTube. And I am not trying to be, or do I have any desire to be like the other people on YouTube. That's just not what I'm here for. What I am here for is to try to spread some knowledge, drop a couple of gems on you guys, and go about my business, go about my regular day to day. I know the thought of that may make some people upset. The thought of someone, particularly a Black woman, trying to do something positive and not walking around with the wearing that label of being an angry Black woman, matching that stereotype. And that's weird for a lot of people. They're not used to that. They're used to people lashing out and being ready to curse someone out and, you know, just being the person that they expect them to be. That's what this video is all about, shattering the norm. You don't have to be anybody except who you are. The only person that you need to worry about pleasing is yourself. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Anything else that anyone else thinks about you doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, they can't live for you and they surely cannot die for you. So be uniquely you, because that is the person that you were created to be. And Bishop T.D. Jakes' message, he said something that I thought was pretty profound. And I tend to live by this on a daily. And when he mentioned it, I'm like, aha, I had that moment of epiphany, that aha moment. What he said was, I'd rather you dislike me and see me than to neutralize my identity, compromise my standards, just so I can fit in with you.
There's nothing wrong with me being me. I dress the way I like to dress. I dance the way I feel it. There's a reason I clap the way I clap. I nod my head the way I want to nod my head. It's part of my full-grown manness. I don't need your acceptance to the point of liquefying my uniqueness. I'd rather you dislike me and see me than to neutralize my identity, compromise my standards, just so that I can fit in with you. If you're gonna love me, you're gonna have to love me the way I am. Don't let anybody make you compromise your identity.
So the question that I would have to ask anyone that is being pressured or being told that they need to fit in is, whoever is pressuring you, whoever is making you feel like you need to do something different, who is that person to tell you that you're not being the person that you're supposed to be? Who is that person that you have to change who you are to try to fit into their situation? Why aren't they adapting to yours? Who are they? I asked this question before. Who are they? Why should you have to compromise your standards to make up where someone else is lacking? Because if a person is living what we would consider our best lives, or their best life, if they're living their best life, then the only thing that they will be saying to you is things, or are things that would be uplifting, things that would encourage you, that would empower you, make you want to do more, make you want to be a better person. If it's things that make you want to come out in a negative way, if it's things that make you want to come after people, and I'm going to say step outside of yourself, or what you say is outside of yourself, then that's someone that you may want to reconsider being around. A person that is for you doesn't do anything to hurt you. Understand that. And if they do hurt you, it's not intentional. It's definitely not intentional. When they do hurt you, they recognize that they hurt you, and they're willing to do whatever they can to make sure that you know that it wasn't intentional, that they really don't mean you any harm. But if someone is constantly coming after you, and you find yourself having to get in position or play a role whenever they come around, then you're not being who you were meant to be. That's not how this works. Something else that he said in that message was, don't let anyone make you compromise your identity. Now, whenever we teach the cognitive behavioral model, one thing that we always stress, let me speak for me, one thing that I always stress is that make word. No one can make you do anything. You always have a choice. So if you choose to compromise your identity, then you are making a conscious decision to allow someone else to change who you are. No one can do that without your permission. No one can make you mad. And I told you guys about this before, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't know about that. You can make me mad. No one can make you mad. No one can make you sad. They don't have the power to do that. You have to relinquish your power to them in order for them to do anything, in order for them to make you do something. You always have a choice. You got some decisions to make. But in all things, you have a choice. And once you realize that you have a choice, that you don't have to go left because somebody told you to go left. You don't have to go right because someone told you to go right. You don't have to dress this way. You don't have to walk this way. You don't have to wear your hair this way. You don't have to act this way just because somebody says it. You have a choice. Once you remember that, then you get that power back, and then people understand just how unique and how strong you are just by being you. When people see that you're not quick to follow the crowd, that you're willing to stand up on your own, because that's how I define integrity. Standing up for something even when you have to stand alone. That's my definition of integrity. So if you are willing to do that and not being, not worrying about what the next person thinks about you because you decided to stand on your own, then you're halfway there. You're halfway there. But one thing that we have to remember is we have to get out of doing what is comfortable for us. And following what's normal for people, that's comfort. Standing on your own, making your own decisions, letting people know what you stand for, letting people know what you will and will not tolerate, setting yourself apart from anything that's going on that you know is not of you, shattering the norm. You don't have to be that chameleon that I spoke to you guys about before. You don't have to go and if something's green, you got to turn green. If something's yellow, you got to turn yellow. You don't have to do that. You can be uniquely you and you can stand out. I don't care if it's a crowd of all blue and you come standing out in red. Yeah, I'm saying game colors. But it doesn't matter. It's about you being uniquely you. Because we know the saying, and it may sound cliche, but if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And this is true. So if you don't have something that you stand for, if your values and your morals don't represent what you stand for and you're merely going by what someone else wants you to stand for, it goes back to that group mentality that we talked about the other week. It goes back to that. Shattering the norm. Just because everyone else is doing something, you don't have to do it. I know y'all know that. I know I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But sometimes we need a reminder. Just because someone is doing something, you don't have to do it. It's just that simple. Just because someone is saying something, you don't have to believe it. Who would have thought? I know it's like, Dr. Rogers, why are you telling us this stuff that we already know? Sometimes you need a reminder. Shattering the norm. I don't have to compromise for you. If I choose to compromise, it is a conscious decision that I have made myself that I'm going to try to ease up a little bit in order to get my desired results. Because at the end of the day, anything that you do is about desired consequences. So I asked you guys if you knew about that A, B, and C when we were on live the other day. And I didn't have anybody answer that question. So just when you're dealing with cognitive behavioral therapy, that A, B, and C, you have an activating event, that's the A. B, you have a behavior, and C, you have a consequence. So you have an activating event, you have a behavior, and you have a consequence. So something usually happens to spark whatever your behavior is. We don't just act without something happening. So whatever that activating event is, it happens. You feel tired, you go lay down. Activating event, you retire. The behavior, you went and laid down and went to sleep. The desired consequence, you wake up the next morning, you feel rested, you feel good, you can go to work on time, you can get to school on time because of that behavior. So every behavior that you have has a consequence, whether it's a desired consequence or an undesired consequence. That choice is going to be up to you. But you have to think about what those consequences are before you participate in that behavior. And that's where a lot of people fall short. There's an activating event. Someone goes, they're talking trash. Your immediate response is you're going to go and you're going to talk trash right back with them because how dare they come at you like that? How dare they? Consequence, now you're going back and forth with somebody. When if you were being realistic with yourself, you could ask, do I know this person? Do I want to give up the energy to go back and forth with this person? What are going to be the consequences if I decide to go back and forth with this person? Is that what I want? Or do I want to have a good day and go about my business like they really don't matter, because in the grand scheme of things, they don't. And so if that is what you're saying when you sit down and you rationalize that situation, if that is your thinking, then your behavior is you won't respond to it and you'll get your desired consequence. You can go about your day, keep on moving, and you don't have to worry about what they have going on unless you choose to worry about what they have going on, because at this point they are completely irrelevant to you. And that's how you tend to stand out with other people, thinking things through. Remembering your ABCs. Remember that when they say for every action, there's an action or equal reaction, that is absolutely true. But you control that reaction on your part. And in a lot of cases, you can actually control the behavior on the other person's part, or with your response. That's something that I think everyone needs to remember, whether it's dealing with your peers, whether it's dealing with your coworkers, whether it's dealing with your family, your spouse, friends, whatever. Just remembering that the way that you respond to any particular situation, number one, sets you apart from other people, because that means that your response will never be the same. You're going to base your response on any given situation. Whatever that particular situation is, that is what your response is going to be based on. Nothing more, nothing less. You'll remember what happened from previous situations. This will help dictate what you do in this situation, because as long as you're rationalizing things out and being objective, doing a camera check, looking at things to see what really happened. Whenever something happened, what really happened here? You're coming at me, but is it really about me? Of course not. You don't know me. You're coming at me, but I can't see you. Why would I respond? So just the rationalizing the whole thing. You have a bully. Do you follow them up? Do you just sit quiet and you let it keep going on? You have to make those decisions. But whenever you're making those decisions also includes thinking the consequences through. You have to weigh those consequences and see which one is going to work best for you at that time. And is it going to give you your desired result? Breaking the norm. Not just reacting whenever something happens. That's the norm. Something happened, boom, we take off. That's the norm. Standing there and actually taking a few seconds, doing that countdown like Carl Winslow. I told y'all before, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Yes, it's funny. But it gives you at least 3 seconds to think about what you're going to do before you actually respond. And it may be a response that you don't necessarily want or mean. And once it happens, you can't take it back. Shattering the norm. Making those decisions that other people don't expect you to make, because that's not what they're used to. But it's not about what they're used to. It's about what you are used to. What kind of path do you want to set? What kind of example are you trying to set? What are you trying to leave behind? What do you want your legacy to be? Is it going to be one of being a follower? And don't get me wrong, at some point in life, we all have to follow. But when it comes to making our own decisions, is your legacy going to be that of a follower or a leader? That's something that you need to ask yourself. Shattering the norm. Me telling you that whatever you do is on you and whatever I do is on me. And you can't tell me what to do. You can try and I'll listen. And if I can use what you're telling me, then, I'll take it in. Again, like I said, filter out what I need, the stuff that I need. I'll, put that in my mental bank for later. The stuff that I don't need, I filter it out. It goes to file 13 and we keep it pushing. Shattering the norm Doing you. Your channel doesn't have to be like anybody else's channel. The norm on social media is negativity, right? You want to be a YouTuber. You want to be a blogger. You feel that in order for you to be a blogger, you have to do what the other bloggers do. And when you look at the majority of the bloggers that may be talking about the same topic that you're speaking on or that you want to speak on, you see that they get more, or it appears that they get more likes, they get more views by being negative. So this is what you choose to do. But being negative may not necessarily be your character. But for this, in order for you to be successful, you feel like you have to follow the norm and do what everyone else is doing in order for you to be successful. Shatter the norm. Let me tell you how I look at it. If everyone on YouTube is doing the same thing, they're coming out negative, then what you're doing is splitting your audience. And this is why people hop from page to page to page to page to page, because they got to get a little over here, a little over here, a little over here, but everybody's doing the same thing, right? You come along. I'm not following the crowd. That's the decision that you make. You're not going to follow the crowd. You're going to do something different. You're going to remain positive. Now, your crowd may start out small. Your audience may start out small, but there is a significant group of people that want to see something positive. And even though it may take a little longer for your name to get out there, your channel, whatever you're trying to do, YouTube page, Facebook, like Twitter, whatever it is, you set the tone to the type of people that you attract to your channel. So if that tone is that of negativity, then that's what you're going to attract. If it's that of positivity and encouragement, then that's what you're going to attract. Don't get me wrong. Some of those negative Neds will come over just to try to break you, so they can show that you're not as positive as you're claiming to be. But that's when you break the norm. Because no matter what stones, no matter what bricks, sticks, whatever they throw at you, you don't allow anyone to compromise who you are. That's it. Let them do what they must. Recognize it for what it is. But when you're here, you have a purpose, you have a goal, then you focus on whatever that purpose and that goal is, and everything else is irrelevant. Shatter the norms. That's what we're working on right now. That's what I'm going to be working on right now. Especially with so much going on in these YouTube streets. Like I usually say, these streets can be treacherous. So what I am doing right now is making a conscious decision. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to remain positive regardless of whatever or whoever throws anything negative in my direction. And I'm going to give them one even bigger. Since there is so much back and forth and so much competition over who's doing what, who's in whatever position. For me, Dr. Rogers, I don't need a position. I have my position here in my own house. So I don't need a position on any particular platform. So what you do with that to make sure that you shatter the norm is you pull away from the things that everyone considers normal. So some of these conversations that we're having and everybody putting out the same information, that's normal. You back away from that. Shatter the norms. Let them have it. When it comes to the point when it's a competition and you're not one that deals with competition unless it's something that is going to elevate you, then do something different. Because the truth of the matter is, if something is meant for you, then there's not a devil in hell that can get in the way of you getting or doing whatever you were destined to do. Now that's law. So you let people have it. And that's what I plan on doing. That's right. I'm gonna let you have it. So, I've been sitting here and I'm thinking, like, should I go this way? Should I go that way? I am going to stick to more of my coaching. since there's a question about whether or not, things can be done and people feel like they can tell everybody what to do, and this is still positive. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm going to stick with my coaching, and however that may come out, that's what's going to come out. Now, part of my coaching does involve justice, so I will always be about fighting for justice. But when it comes to the other stuff and having to go back and forth with people about a situation that really doesn't involve me, you can have it. You can have it. I'm sorry, but you can have that. Dr. Rogers is not here for it. So, in the spirit of shattering the norm, this is going to be one of a series that I actually do about shattering the norm. Because when I listen to my viewers, I see that they are seeking something. I see that people want answers to questions that they're not getting in other places. People want to be encouraged. They want to feel like they have a sense of family, of belonging, going back to those, just those basic needs. When you go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's those 5 basic needs that people are really longing for. And not one of those 5 includes drama. So let's shatter the norms. We'll shatter the norms. So if you need to keep the ongoing drama, then you let that drama stay over there. If you are wanting to do something different, if you're wanting something different in your life, if you're trying to learn something new, something that's going to help empower you, something that will help you improve and build on the person that you already are, then this is the place to be. Hey, this is where it's at. But if you still want to go along with other stuff, then, you do that. You have that choice. Like I said, everything comes down to a decision. But at some point, I'm hoping that everyone decides that it's time to shatter the norm. Shatter what is normal. Okay? Dr. Seuss had a saying, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But Dr. Seuss had a saying, and I know y'all like Dr. Seuss, whatever. Why blend in when you were meant to stand out? I want y'all to think about that. Why blend in when you were meant to stand out? Now, with that being said, I bid you guys all farewell. I wish you a blessed day. And remember, at this point, we are shattering the norm. Have a good one.